Good morning, students. Today we will study the following points in connection with our running topic improvement in food resources of chapter number 15. Here in the last video, you have already studied or you have already seen that why the resources in food and their improvement requires that is very essential for the country like India, where there is a huge demand of the crop, and that means the different types of crops and their food demands are at large scale here, as because we are densely populated country. And we are now in today's lesson study about number 1 point, crop variety improvement. It is the first important point that will be discussed today, and this point will discuss under the 3 different sub points like hybridization, genetically modified crops, and number 3 factors for which variety improvement is done. All these 3 we will study under the crop variety improvement. Next part of our lesson, today's lesson, is the crop production management, and the third part is nutrient management. Just I have shown here what are the portions which today we would like to touch. Here you may see these things here which I have written here, like crop variety improvement. First we know about what is the crop variety improvement. A crop possessing several characters, like a crop size, similar crop may having the different sizes, may having the different shapes, may having the different colors, may having the different taste, may having the different taste, different color, different height, etc. All these are the variety. That means a variety in a crop is a group of plants which has same genetic constitution. They may possess several varieties, but having the similar genetic composition, similar genetic constitution, and differs from the varieties in one or more characters. A crop variety that gives a good yield. Good yield means the good production. That means if a farmer want to produce a particular type of crop, and if he has some target, a certain target that in this per acre of land I will produce 1 quintal of wheat, or maybe some other what he has may targeted, that will achieved. That is the good yield. The production will be good. Can be achieved only if a variety has certain useful characteristics, such as, but how it is possible, how they fulfilled these factors, that means good yield, that the variety resistance to pest and diseases, the varieties response to fertilizers, early maturity, higher productivity, all these factors which have summarized here. We will discuss it in a different part when that part will come to us after discussion of this. Then you may get the information, full information, what are these things. But presently may you understand that for a good yield, this must be in the improved variety crops. That means resistance to pests and disease, response to fertilizers, early maturity, higher productivity. Now come to here, various processes by which the varieties with desirable characters. What characters? Desirable. What characters we want? What characters the farmers want? That characters will come and only due to the varietal improvement techniques. What are these techniques? A few of these techniques are as follows. Just we have talked in the in the starting of this topic, that is the hybridization and the genetically modified crops. So this is the two way by which we achieve the variety improvement, crop variety improvement. Now come and know about the hybridization and its different type. In the last class also I have discussed this one, but not in a detailed way. You will get here definition and the examples also, and what is the methodology for this genetic manipulation, then that will maybe discuss here. 20 minute ka to. Look here, the first technique, the hybridization. The hybridization is one of the common techniques where superior variety is developed by crossing or mating between two individuals which differ in their genetic constitution. This is very important, as this will give a new variety, and that new variety that will resulted by the hybridization not genetically similar, they will be differ. It can be of the following types depending upon the individuals chosen for hybridization. If the individual chosen for the variety, for like here number 1, intervarietal, crossing between the different varieties of same species. In today's the wheat and their different varieties which are available due to this technique. The first, the number 1 of the hybridization, that means intervarietal. Secondly, interspecific, crossing between two different species of same genus, all sugarcane varieties, the examples. And third one is not in practical very much, and it is rarely used, this technique, intergeneric. This is the mating between the two parents belonging to different genera. This is an uncommon technique and is not employed normally. So this one is the hybridization. Now come to the next part, that is the modified crops, GM crops. Here the second method. A crop variety can also be improved by introducing a gene into that crop which would modify the genetic constitution and provide better yield. The crop for which we want better yield, for which we want better quality, in that type of crop we will introduce a specific type of gene for a desirable characters. Such crops are termed as genetically modified crops. Here in the example, may see here BT cotton. This is the first example. It is the second example, BT brinjal. And why? What is this BT? First, may understand here, what is this BT? BT stands for Bacillus thuringiensis. Thuringiensis. This is the name of a bacteria. This is the generic name. This is the specific name. This bacteria, their gene, that means their gene will be introduced into the cotton plant, into the brinjal, kapas or ye बैगन, इन दोनों में इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. किस लिए? फॉर व्हाट desirable characters required these two plants. That means these two plants are suffering very much with the insect and pest. That's why to protect, to resist against the pest or the insect, that can be introduced with this Bt. It is the short form B and this is the T. Always the generic name will be started with capital and a specific name will be started with the small. That is why this will be introduced to this one, and improved variety develop. Understand? So this is the second which you have seen here. The first one is hybridization and the second one is the genetically modified crops. You this is only included under our syllabus, that have already discussed here. The next part is now come to what are the different factors for which variety improvement is done, or objectives of varietal improvement. In your book also a series of those factors have been mentioned. I also taken a few of them here for your concept. Like number one, when we talk about the crop production, the first thing is the quantity, the second important thing is the quality, and the other all the factors will come later on. But first two objective for any farmer, that we must produce what we want as per acre, the maximum to increase productivity per acre of land. What is the target of a particular land for the production of a particular crop? That must be provided, that must be achieved. That is the quantity. And the second important thing, quality, improved quality. Different techniques are adopted for improvement in the quality of a crop. You have seen the two different methodology, and depending upon that, in the quality of a crop, the quality considered for improvement varies from crop to crop. A crop that is like a wheat, what is its improved quality? That is the backing quality. There is no compromise with this quality, that is the backing quality. Like the pulses, from pulses we will get proteinaceous type of food particles. That means we want protein maximum from the pulses, and from the oil we want from the oil seeds. So that means this is the some example which I have given here. There are other examples also and the other factors also. Now we will discuss some more factors. Understand? The other factors are here. We have already seen the two important factors, the higher yield or higher production or productivity, and second one is that the quality of the crop, which can vary crop to crop. Now here the third important point, resistances or stresses. During cultivation, our crops are influenced by two kinds of stress which reduce their productivity. Our farmer always worried about some biotic resistance and some other abiotic resistance, which are unpredictable, and it is very much damaged our crop due to diseases or attacks by insects, microorganisms, birds, nematodes. This is the under the biotic, that means the living factors due to the attacks by insect, microorganism, and some other abiotic factors, non-living, like due to adverse climatic conditions such as drought, flood, frost, heat, cold, water logging, salinity of the soil, etc. So this one is the some factor that discussed in point number 3. Now come to this point number 4, just above this here, varietal improvement is carried out to develop crop varieties resistant to the stress factor. That means we should develop such type of varieties that will be resistant to these stress factors like the abiotic and biotic resistance. Here the maturity duration, this is also very important point in regard to the cultivation of the crops. Like the crop variety is more economical if the duration from sowing to its harvesting is short. If the maturity, the harvesting is dependent upon the maturity. If we have sown the seed and the maturity will come as early as possible, the duration will be shorter of that crop, and that will save the time, that will save the resources of the farmers and the laborers, and that is why there is a economically benefited this maturity duration. The crop variety is more economical if the duration from sowing to its harvesting is short, and due to the short duration there are chances for the development, for the multiple cropping, for the chances of multiple cropping in short. If the a particular type of crop will be available, or maybe the time has saved in this way, there will be more and more crops will be cultivated. So that is why it is economically very important. And if there is a uniformity come to all the mixed crop or the multiple crop which cultivated, that will also save the money and the time. This is very important point. Now the wider adaptability. This is some, here two word I have used here, adaptability, wider adaptability. The crops with wider adaptability can stabilize or acclimatize themselves under different environmental conditions. You well know that depending upon the soil, depending upon the water, depending upon the conditions, environmental conditions, the crops will be grown in the different parts depending upon the different soils, in the different environmental conditions. That is why such type of improvement in variety brings that will helpful for a wider adaptability. That means if a crop will be grown only in some specific places, that will be grown in another places also, in another situations also, in other climatic conditions also, that is the wider adaptability. A few points more here that will require for our discussion. Here the last point, desirable agronomic traits. The plants possess, or each and every living organism possesses some traits. The traits here in case of the plants, like their height, the height means tall and dwarf, like their shape of the seed, like the color of the seed, and like the flower position, where to put in the axial region or in the terminal part of the plant, in the apical part of the plant, flowers will be present. So these are the some characteristic, agronomic characteristic features of a plant, and depending upon that characteristic features, we may improve the varieties for a desired, like the tallness and profuse branching are desirable characters for fodder crops. If due to some wild type of crops if available, in which there is no tallness characters present in the fodder plant, or there is no profuse branching, that means we can change, we can bring some improvement by developing varieties of desired agronomic characters. Similarly, in case of the cereals products like the wheat, paddy, maize, etc. So that less here are desirable characters for fodder crops. Dwarfness is desired in cereals so that less nutrients are consumed by these crops. If the plants will be taller, the plants will be profuse, having the profuse branches, they will require more and more nutrient, they require more and more water. That is why here the less nutrients are consumed by these crops. Thus, developing varieties of desired agronomic characters helps in higher productivity. So, this is the last point which we have completed from this part. In our today's lesson, our next part is crop production management. In our country, about 70 to 80% people depend upon the farming, agriculture. May you write in 70 to 80% people depend upon agriculture. This agriculture and the people who depends upon the agriculture may be a small scale or a large scale. There are peoples who possessed a large, they may in the agriculture field, they have a lot of things. They have everything present as because due to the economical condition, better economical condition. What are the different things which they possessed for their agriculture? Like the tractor they possess, like the higher yield varieties. The different types of seeds which are available in the market at a costlier, that is the costlier one, but they will purchase it, they are capable to purchase it. But all the people are not alike. There are some farmers who has no low income, they are not able to purchase they cannot assess even by the information what are the development in the agriculture field coming every day. This type of conditions may be, and under these situations there is a possibility of three different types of farming or agriculture. Like number one, no cost, low cost and high cost. Those people who are able to purchase the higher yield varieties, seeds, and they are even able to facilitate their cropping fields with the well irrigation facilities, and if there is any deficiency in the nutrient, they may purchase the costlier one, fertilizers, etc. They may able to purchase, and if they give good input, there is a must good output also. But if there is a low input, there is a low output. That is why there is some things which are here essential to know how we achieve in this field, how we manage our crop production, how to manage in a well manner to crop production. During the production of any crop, there are some requirement like the nutrient. That is why I have written here, and in your book it is also one point, nutrient management. That means the nurturing of the growing crops, and the manure. If there is a deficiency in the organic and in some inorganic substances, at that time we should provide them manure, and ultimately here there are if there are deficiencies, which we will later talk about nutrient, there are deficiencies of nutrients like the nitrogen, mainly like the nitrogen, mainly like the phosphorus, mainly like the potassium, that means NPK. Under that conditions there will be applications of fertilizers in our growing crop, for our growing crops. That's why here first we know what is nutrient. Like all the organisms require some inorganic elements. Their body is mainly based on carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, but that means the organic. But besides that, they require some inorganic elements, inorganic nutrients. That inorganic nutrients is also essential for the plant growth, development, and for the other physiological activities, and that is the metabolic activities. Here the definition, like other organisms, plants also require inorganic elements and nutrients for their growth and development and metabolism. These inorganic elements are called essential nutrients. These essential nutrients, dependent upon the quantity of requirement to the plant, is two types: macronutrients and micronutrients. The such type of nutrients which require in large quantity to the plants, the such type of nutrients which require in large quantity to the plant. Micro, that means it requires in large quantity, whereas the another type, that is the micro, that means it requires in less quantity, in less amount or less quantity. Here these different types of elements and their sources tabled here. Like in case of the plants, there are three different sources of the elements. What is the three different sources? What are these three different sources? Number one, air; number two, water; number three, soil. From the air, carbon, oxygen they will get. From the water, once again, oxygen and hydrogen they will get. From the soil, which is the nearest and richest sources of the plants, they will get the two different types of the macronutrients and micronutrients. The nutrients which require in larger quantities, it is also available in the soil, and the elements are the nutrients which require in lesser quantity, that is also available in the soil. What are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have seen here there are 6, like nitrogen, like phosphorus, like potassium, like calcium, like magnesium, like sulfur. So these are the micronutrients, that means it requires in large quantity. And here the micro, it is 7: iron, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, molybdenum, chlorine. So these are the 7. 7 plus 6, 13. Altogether 13 elements, 13 inorganic nutrients are essential for the growth and development. If any nutrient found to be less as per the requirement, then there will be deficiency symptoms. And in case of the deficiency of the micronutrient, there is some distinct symptoms appeared in the plant body. In case of the micronutrients, there is a symptoms appear, but that is not so much distinct. And this is the also you can differentiate between these two, that it requires in large quantity, it requires in less quantity. Their deficiency symptom is distinct, their deficiency symptom is not distinct, and may put 2 or 3 examples at the number 3 point, and you may complete this one. So here we have seen that how the nutrients is essential for the growth, development, and other metabolic activities for the plant body. Now after this, if you have seen here the 3 important micronutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and depending upon this there is a production of fertilizers. there is a production of fertilizers. That is why the fertilizers is based on these three NPK. It is in short form, it is also known as NPK. NPK based fertilizers are also available, where the nitrogen is the main elements, where the phosphorus is the main element, where potassium is the main element or the main nutrient. And in this one is the organic nutrients that will be provided to the plants. It also contains some little amount of the inorganic elements. So, this is the today's lesson. We have completed all these points.